Hey, it's the Midnight Raven, and today we are looking at part 2 of the Oslo hotel shooting. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm the Midnight Raven. I'm trying something new with my content by doing my true crime videos with me on camera, giving you a description, a conclusion, hopefully, and a resolution of these cases. So today we're looking at part 2. If you haven't seen part 1 of the Oslo hotel shooting, I implore you to go see part 1 because it does help you work out part 2. So, we're going to do a small recap from video 1 just in case you're watching this and you haven't watched the first one. So what we know so far is a young woman was found in a hotel room in Oslo with a gunshot wound to her forehead. She'd originally come to the hotel with a man, possibly a partner, a accomplice. We have no idea at this point what this young man was to this woman. So, within the room, they found the woman lying face up on the bed with a gunshot wound to her forehead. The only other items in the room was a briefcase which had 25 live rounds. There were no proof of documents in the room, her passports had gone, and no other documentation was in the room. Her supposed name given to the receptionist was Jennifer Fergate, who was accompanied to the hotel originally by a man called Lewis Fergate. So this is where we come to the point in this video where we look at the evidence and what's transpired. So after entering the room, the security guard who had called the police entered the room, and the police then turned up and found her laying face up with a gunshot wound and all this other evidence that I just said. Nowhere in the room was there any evidence of the man called Lewis. Lewis had supposedly arrived with the woman and then disappeared. There was no trace of him, no belongings in the room, no evidence he was ever there. So the hotel staff were interviewed by the police, and one of the staff would reveal that the woman had black hair and blue eyes, which is actually quite rare. Another member of staff said the woman had checked in alone, while another member of staff said that she'd checked in with with a man around his 30s, talking to the hotel receptionist the day the woman checked in with the man. So at some point they had checked in together or been seen together at reception. Police would contact Belgian police to see if they had any information on these two people who were supposedly of Belgian nationality, hence filling in the form at reception. So Jennifer and Lewis Fergate, turns out they didn't exist. There were no details, nothing on the Interpol system of any of these two people even existing. So the pair had obviously given fake details when checking into a hotel, which isn't unusual. Lots of people check into hotels under fake names to keep secrets, to hide cheating, affairs, and that kind of stuff. So, the police would use her fingerprints from her corpse to see if they could produce any matches on the Interpol database, and that also came up with nothing. So a post-mortem was then performed on the women to see if they could gauge any more information. They tried to work out whether she was actually from Belgium. They also tried to work out what her age was, and she was around mid-30s, early 30s. The weird thing about this case is that though the woman is supposedly have shot herself and that the hotel room was locked, there was no actual gun residue on her right hand, which is the hand she supposedly shot herself with. So, answers there need to be answered. So, her teeth also gave no matches. She is believed to have lived in Germany due to her chemical makeup of her jaw, but that was during her childhood years, and her whereabouts after then, there is no information. So this mystery unnamed woman was buried in a Oslo cemetery in June 1996 in an unmarked grave. According to police, reports from the post-mortem cleared her death as a suicide. Many theories continue to beg to differ. The large number of bullets that she had in her bag, which were 25 in total, were more than enough to kill her, but why so many? Was it possible she was an assassin and something had gone wrong on a job? Was she involved in a drug deal that went wrong? Or was she just a high-class sex worker who fell foul to an untoward client? Many questions cannot be answered on who the lady was, why she was at the hotel, and how she ended up coming to take possibly her own life. Another fact was the hotel door being locked from the inside, meaning that this was evidence to suggest that no one else was in the room, so she killed herself. But more questions remain unanswered. What happened to Lewis Fergate, the man that was seen with her in the hotel? Did he just shoot her and leave? Was he never there during part of the weekend, and was he only there for the first night they were in the hotel? So there was a room occupied opposite the room that the lady was shot in. The gentleman in this room was dubbed Mr. F. He checked out of the hotel on the Saturday. This was the morning before the shooting. So the man in that room was never questioned by police on what he saw, whether he heard anything in the days preceding, like arguments or hearing people come and go, and he was never questioned. So, because he was never questioned by police, a Norwegian newspaper found the guy that was in the hotel opposite Mr. F and decided to interview him on whether he could be of any help to the investigation that the newspaper were talking about. So they interviewed him, and he had said he'd heard nothing in the preceding days before he left the hotel on the Saturday. He was challenged about what he knew, claiming that maybe he knew more, but he had actually left the hotel before the shooting had occurred. Mr. F never spoke to the police, never gave a statement, and never spoke to the media about what he knew, apart from the interview with the Norwegian newspaper. So the mystery of the woman's real name remains unknown. The mystery of why she took her own life, what happened to Lewis Fergate, still remains uncertain, and there are still many unanswered questions to be answered in this case that still to this day remain unsolved. The woman remains a Jane Doe. No one knows who she is. No one knows where she came from, her backstory, why she was at the hotel, why she took her own life, and many, many, many more unanswered questions about the bullets and the situation remain unanswered. So to this day, this woman buried in an Oslo cemetery has no backstory and no conclusion to her murder case. So if you want to see more from me, give us a big thumbs up. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Sorry if I did give a couple of mistakes in there. I'm not the best person on camera, but I am trying, and with time I will get more confident. So let me know down below, what do you think of this Oslo hotel shooting? If you haven't already, check out part 1 so that you can get the full story, because it is a very confusing story. A lot of things remain unanswered, and with very little to go on in the room and very little evidence and no even information on these two people ever existing, and then them both just disappearing, we may never know the answers to this case, and that is more intriguing, I guess, to us true crime people, that we don't know the answers to the case. It would be so easy just to solve it. But if you want to see more from me, I load videos every day. This is a new series I'm starting. Hopefully you're enjoying it. Sorry for any mistakes. I'm a little nervous on camera doing this kind of thing, because I really do want to give you all the information. Check out part 1 because you need the details from the first part of this case to really understand the second. And I will see you all very soon for another true crime case. Take care and thanks for watching. Bye guys.